Okay.
Yeah, we are good.
Okay, good. Thank you. Well, welcome everybody. And let's get the administrative stuff out of the way quickly. Approval of agenda. Betty and seconded by Kirsty, all in favor?
Mm.
Looks like unanimous. Adoption of the minutes of the last meeting. Somebody who was there, Richard and Kirsty again. Hands are going up too quickly. All in favor? Okay, good. Thank you. Sorry, you've identified yourself, sir, as owner. Could I have your name, please?
Yeah, it's Drew Burgess.
Burgess, okay. Oh, we have two Drews in the meeting. This may get confusing, but welcome.
Thank you.
Is there anything you would like to say initially before the other Drew presents his report?
Yeah, I'm assuming that this is the time that you want public comments, and I have a public comment about
Yes.
the
Okay.
meeting is about.
Okay, please. We normally just allow 5 minutes, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
please
don't think I'll
proceed.
take near that time.
Okay.
So your meeting today is about the Lot 7 Adams Road, am I correct?
That's right.
Right, okay. So I don't know if everybody got a chance to listen to Bob and Rosemary's presentation the last council meeting, but they did an excellent presentation showing how critical the various areas for the Grafton watershed and the water supply tributary to Grafton Lake are. Two of those real critical areas, one is up at Quarry Park. The second one is basically Lot 7 Adams Road. It also touches 1355 West Side Road and also 1380 Adams Road, which is the immediate neighbors. If you're not familiar with the area, it's pretty much all of Lot 7, which is 10 acres, and an acre or so of the of Lot 1355, and quite a bit of Lot 1380. It's a collection area, catchment area, and the water that flows down from Mount Gardner, flows down from Radar Hill into the watershed, goes right through that Lot 7. It's obviously a real critical, environmentally sensitive area. The whole of the Grafton watershed has, I'm guessing, I haven't counted the lots, but maybe 200 residences, and that's all through the valley. It's got a major road going through it, goes across the island. It's got public walking paths around Grafton Lake, and remarkably to me, it's now got a parking lot for tourists and residents to park their cars to walk around the lake. Here's a quote from the Metro Vancouver Watersheds and Reservoirs Information Circular, and I quote, "Reservoirs and water supply areas are closed to the public for protection from pollution, erosion, fire, and other hazards, with the exception of registered tours," end quote. Now, I don't consider Metro Vancouver to be a bastion of environmental responsibility, but this is how seriously they take it. Bowen's developed through the years, and we have what we have. An incontrovertible fact is that the weather patterns are changing dramatically over the last 20 years. Holy smokes, what a change. We've got hotter, drier, longer summers, warmer winters, and possibly even wetter winters. We're pretty much regularly at stage 4 conservation. That's the norm. Fire rating is extreme. The precipitation that we do get, especially through the winter, is changed dramatically, and it is expected to continue to change. And we're getting a lot of our rain, at least, is coming in the forms of atmospheric rivers. Now, there's two main facts about atmospheric rivers. One is it's a flooding event. You get a huge amount of water in a very short period of time, and it runs into the lake and then very quickly back into the ocean, and that water is lost. There's not enough time for that water to filter into the aquifer, which for thousands of years has been the norm on the West Coast. We get gentle, continual rains, 8 or 9 months of the year. And over thousands of years, that's built up our water tables, it's built up our fabulous forests, etc. One of the things that happens in these flooding events, obviously, is septic fields are easily overwhelmed. You just cannot guarantee, no matter what engineering you do, you cannot guarantee that septic fields are not going to fail, especially during flooding events like this. Lot 7, Lot 55, not so much 1380 Adams. These are directly draining. These septic fields will directly drain into that bog. I call it a swamp because for 8 or 9 months of the year, that's exactly what it is. A couple of the council members were able to walk it. You know, they walked it in July, the end of July, in our stage 4 water conservation time. You just can't walk that land in the winter. It is an actual bog. We don't have an understanding of our water table as it sits right now. There are no monitoring of any of the wells along the valley. I have a well at 511 Sunset. It's right across the street from Lot 7. 40 years ago, my well was producing 15 gallons a minute at 70 feet of depth. I had to re-drill that well about 10 years ago because it collapsed, re-drilled it in exactly the same spot. We had to go 100 feet and it's yielding only 12 gallons a minute right now. So that's a significant difference. And if we had a study, a longer term study and understanding of what the water table is doing throughout the valley, that would be really informative to giving us an idea of actually how much population the watershed can supply to Bowen Island. We got an ever increasing population, and it just doesn't look like we're replenishing that water in the same way that we have before, because we got so many more people. Discerning the future, understanding the future is a really difficult thing to do. Nobody gets it right. Nobody would have predicted COVID. Nobody would have predicted the incredible rush of population growth in the lower mainland and the spillover into Bowen Island. And, you know, I highlight as fallible councils our inability to predict the future. We can look at our neighbor in Seashell. There's a whole subdivision called Sea-Watch. Improper geological studies were done. And now there's multiple residences that are under permanent evacuation notices because it's so unstable. And that's a very unfortunate situation. Seashell also would very much like to.
Mr. Burgess, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to call the 5 minutes on you.
Oh gosh, was that 5 minutes already?
Oh, you bet.
Okay.
But
Let me just summarize, please. I think it's our responsibility to accept that this is a very environmentally sensitive area. And if we go ahead with 8 residences, possibly 8 residences, because we got 4 lots, we're really doing a disservice to the Snug Cove water supply.
Okay. Well, thank you for your submission, and I would invite you to stick around and listen to what the members of the committee have to say. But first, we will hear from the planner, Mr. Bakken. If you would like to make your presentation.
Thank you. I'll just give me a second to share the screen here. I'm having issues. Sorry, 1 second. So it's showing up in the wrong screen. I'm just going to stop sharing and then 1 second. Okay.
Oh, isn't technology wonderful?
Yeah, not kidding.
Do you need a
Okay.
hand?
I think I got it this time.
Okay.
Are you guys?
Yeah, that's better.
So you guys see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Everything looks strange on my end. It keeps happening lately. All right. So thank you guys. So this presentation is to provide the Advisory Planning Commission with a referral from council this being an application to rezone Lot 7 of Adams Road. So this application was first introduced to council at the regular meeting of May 26th, where staff presented the rezoning proposal to change the zoning designation from rural residential 3 to rural residential 3C in order to facilitate a subdivision into 4 lots. After several members of the public wrote letters and attended the meeting to provide information and express concerns pertaining to the sensitivity of the site's groundwater recharge potential and how that would be affected by development, council ultimately did not support the recommendation to refer the application to committees and instead passed a resolution asking staff to set up a site visit and to consider information provided by the letter writers as well as from William Schulba and to report back to council. So following up, that site visit was carried out on July 28th and allowed councillors and staff a closer view of the creeks and groundwater conditions and the types of foliage on site. Staff then contacted William Schulba of Islands Trust for information and reports additional to some of the groundwater information that was brought up at the council meeting. Schulba provided 2 reports. The first of those, Islands Trust area groundwater potential mapping, includes extensive groundwater testing across several islands of study, including Bowen. Under point 6 in its conclusion section, it states that the results of groundwater recharge potential sensitivity analysis indicate that the recharge potential across most of the island is not very sensitive to changes in land use and precipitation. Under the precipitation scenarios, the spatial extent of impact can be extensive. However, the magnitude of the change under those scenarios was small. On the topic of the subject water supply, Schulba stated that the well report provided by the applicant shows that the well tested is sufficient to supply all 4 lots. He did recommend that the applicant completes a water management plan, which is also required under Bowen's land use bylaw. On the topic of groundwater testing, staff discussed with Schulba the applicant's concerns around carrying out multi-seasonal testing of the groundwater and how this could delay the application for a significant amount of time, requiring additional investment without assurance that the application would be supported going forwards. Schulba explained that multiple pumping tests for groundwater is an unusual requirement and that if required, most aquifers in the Islands Trust in most aquifers in the Islands Trust area, the dry period or times when the groundwater fracture pressure and well levels are lowest is late September to mid-November, so right now essentially. So that would be the best time to undertake a technical assessment in the drought period. Finally, after further discussions on council's concerns with the applicant, Mike Lightbody provided an updated site plan, which increases the amount of the property to be protected under a conservation covenant from 75% as previously up to 83% with the new plan. So that plan it still includes 4 lots, but it's realigned to reduce the length of the access driveway while still maintaining enough room for the vehicles to get to the northerly property. In order to make room for additional protected areas, the intended locations of the residences were moved further from the riparian areas, providing an additional 5-meter setback from the spiel line. And Lightbody notes that an additional envelope could be imposed to restrict the location of structures in the property. It should be noted that there are several options under the existing zoning for the applicant to develop the property, which the applicant has discussed with staff in the event that the rezoning application is not supported by council. So that current RR3 zoning designation would allow a subdivision of the property into 2 residential lots. In that case, while the proposal would not be subject to council's approval nor public hearing process, staff would still have the ability to require environmental reports such as hydrogeological reports, in addition to the riparian area protections that would still be applicable. Alternatively, without pursuing a rezoning nor a subdivision process, the property could still be developed for a single-family dwelling with an allowable lot coverage of up to 1,500 square meters. In that case, the municipality would not have the ability to require additional environmental reports beyond those addressing, again, those riparian area protections, which would still be in effect. So in conclusion, based on information provided by William Schulba of Islands Trust, it appears that the groundwater recharge potential of the subject property is not overly sensitive to changes in land use. As well, the hydrogeology tests to investigate groundwater conditions on site may be carried out during the dry season, late September to mid-November, and do not need to be tested during multiple seasons. The applicant has further supported the municipality's concerns around the sensitivity of the site through submitting a new site plan, placing additional areas of the property under covenant protection. The applicant is also prepared to commission a hydrogeological study of the property. So staff's recommendation to council was that the application be referred to committees for comment while the applicant carries out the hydrogeological testing on the property. So in this way, the environmental concerns of the property could be further investigated by the applicant while the application makes its way through the committee referral process rather than being halted completely. In terms of our recommendation to the committee, or sorry, to the commission itself, staff recommends that the Advisory Planning Commission supports the application to rezone Lot 7 of Adams Road.
Okay. Thank you. Can I just ask that the matter has also been referred to the Parks Environment Committee, whatever it's called these days. Have they dealt with it at all yet?
They kind of put off giving their answer or their recommendation. They wanted to do a site visit first.
Okay, just out of curiosity. So do any members of the APC have any questions or comments? I see Betty. Go ahead, please. Oh, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Sorry, I'm struggling with figuring out how to put my hand up. Drew, can you show us again the proposed covenant area? That slide went very quickly.
Oh, sure.
And while you're doing that, I noticed that Mr. Schuba talked about sort of the water quantity, but I'm wondering what conversation, I realized it wasn't at the last meeting, what conversation went on about the water quality and the, I think lots of us saw the presentation to council about all the interesting things that are chemicals that are finding their way into Grafton Lake. And wondering whether the municipality has any input on the type of septic system that might be used in an area that's particularly sensitive in terms of drainage to our primary water, drinking water source.
To answer the septic question, yeah, I believe we'd have a say in establishing the type of system. I believe. Yeah, I have trouble saying much more than that, but yeah, there are different types of systems available with different levels of kind of safety or reliability. So yeah, that's possible. And sorry, I'm forgetting that you had another question earlier in your comment.
Just trying to clarify exactly where the conservation area is on your plan.
Oh, okay, sure. And you guys, it's up in front of you right now, right? You guys can see it? No?
Which is the
Yeah.
conservation?
Oh, sorry, you can't see the plan though, right? Oh, okay.
I can see the plan, but not the conservation area.
So the conservation area is everything beyond the dotted red line, that uneven red line, kind of in the middle. So
Okay.
basically just a small area at the front of those lots. I guess that'd be 17% of this overall area. Is the actual buildable area where they've got the 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the buildable home sites. Everything back behind the red dotted line would be protected under conservation covenant.
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, I
have a
can't see
question.
everybody's face.
Brenda has a question.
Okay, please go ahead, Brenda.
Yeah, when you say that, well, I have two questions, but I'll start with this one. A conservation covenant, who monitors those? And do we have like a catalog of those someplace?
Question. Yeah, I'm not sure in terms of a catalog. In terms of enforcement, and that is something that's been kind of pointed out in as a criticism, which is that yeah, they're typically kind of complaint based. There's really not much staff capacity for enforcing them all across the island, or I guess monitoring them. So yeah, they're generally based on. It'd be, yeah, like I said, complaint based. If a neighbor is seeing that the area isn't being conserved or the development's happening in there, that they would report it to us, and then we would be following up.
Okay, well that I guess, but I don't find that gives me a whole lot of comfort concerning how important this land is for the or one of the main drinking water supplies on Bowen. That's where I get my water from. And you know, there was a mention of how many homes, I think Drew mentioned in his comments, how many homes are in the area, but a great many more than that, you know, get their water from this area. So that gives me a little bit of pause. And a related question, I guess, is I think you mentioned that getting the proponent to complete a water management plan. What all is included in a water management plan? And again, who enforces those? Who ensures that a plan, even with the best of intentions, is adhered to?
That's a good question. With those, I'd be working with our engineers and our public works departments. Yeah, without anyone present, I couldn't really give those details. Sorry.
So we don't know what a water management plan is?
Well, I just can't give you again, like without working on those myself, I couldn't give you more details on how they function.
Drew, could you take down your screen? I'm having
Sure.
trouble seeing all the participants, as I imagine everyone is. Ah, there we are, back again. Okay, Brenda, do you have
Well, I guess I kind of feel like if we don't have all these answers, I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to give very valuable input, tonight, because I'd like to, have all the information before me when I'm providing recommendations. But anyway, I may have more to say on that, but I'll let somebody else go with the question.
okay? Who's next? Richard.
Well, Betty touched on one of the questions that I had, and that concerns the potential for contamination of Grafton Lake from septic fields, and whether or not any secondary septic treatment can be specified by the municipality on this site. And Drew, I think you said you just don't really have any more information about that at this time.
Correct. On a water management plan, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Richard, if I could just step in for a moment, I think there's really two issues with regard to the septic system. One is the location of the field, which I do believe Drew municipality has authority there.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is the nature of the system that's in place, and we don't know whether or not the municipality has authority there, right? At this point.
Sorry, Michael, can you state that last part again?
We don't know if the municipality has the authority to require a particular kind of septic process, pumps, bubblers, whatever is going to be included.
No, I would say that we do.
Okay.
It's something I see often on property titles. It's covenants, requiring a specific type of septic system. So we could put that in place. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you for clarifying that. Okay, Richard.
Yeah, and the second point I had is just concerning the secondary suite, or the potential for secondary suites. The site plan shows where each of the primary residence or houses would be located. There isn't anything specifying where a secondary suite would go. I'm just wondering whether or not the municipality, in granting a rezoning, could restrict secondary suites on this site, given that there is increasing population pressure on Grafton Lake. There's huge developments taking place in the valley. Is that something that the municipality could consider?
So I'd say absolutely yes, up until Bill 44 in BC was passed, and now that's kind of done away with single family zoning. I mean, it is still possible in, say, there are stratas out there and particular subdivisions that have covenants restricting number of units based on if it's based on water sewer capacity. Those essentially trump zoning. So there are a few small pocket neighborhoods out there that essentially have that do still prohibit secondary suites. I'm just trying to think of how to set that up. Yeah, I'm just not sure if we have to actually, it has to be based on demonstrating that there isn't capacity there, because like they do with their current water report, they have demonstrated there is the capacity for that number of units. So I'm
Well, the new site plan shows a greater setback from the riparian area, but it really doesn't mean much if a secondary suite can be built closer to that riparian area. You know, it can't be built closer to the road. So it would have to go closer to the riparian area. And would result in, you know, more water usage with double the number of families living on the property.
So something I just want to clarify in regard to that site plan, like those numbers, the 1, 2, 3, 4, those were just essentially labeling the lots and identifying where the buildable areas were. Anywhere outside of that covenanted area is eligible for building with
Okay.
setbacks required as well. So it's not showing the position of a residence. It's just the future residences and or a attached suite or detached suite could go kind of anywhere within those areas.
Okay, thanks for that clarification.
I think I saw Betty. No, why don't you give Martin a shot first, Betty? Martin?
Okay, thank you. Just, I guess I'm a little, I'm wondering, because we're basically talking about water quality, which seems to revolve around where the conservation area, the line defining the boundary of it, is located. Are we talking about the reliability of that line? Are we essentially saying that that line that's defined currently is not necessarily reliable? That water usage / septic systems outside of the conservation area could still potentially damage the conservation area? Is that what we're talking about?
Would be my concern.
So that should be provable somehow by whoever drafted that line. There must have been some scientific basis for that line being located where it is.
If I can go ahead and answer. So those lines, so it's based around kind of the riparian setbacks. So the RAPR legislation, riparian area protection legislation in BC has 30-meter buffers along streams. So I think in the original site plan we were looking at, they put the extent of that conservation covenant, I think, right around where that 30-meter buffer was, and then they've extended even further in their updated site plan, giving even kind of a wider berth to those areas.
Okay, so how do we determine, as part of this conversation, whether that's a valid location for that separation? I know it probably can't be answered right now.
In fact,
But-
I'm beginning to create a
It's
list
all-
of conditions, and that will
Mhm.
feed that. Yeah, I take it there's a creek. I mean, the houses will be close to the road, and then there's a downhill to a creek that then flows into Grafton Lake. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Because it is a ways from Grafton Lake. I know. I appreciate that. Okay. Any Betty, I guess, and then Richard.
Well, double question, Drew. I know the riparian area is from the stream, but that lot is like skunk cabbage. It's swampy. So does that riparian zone encompass all the swamp? Do you know?
Yeah, like the really swampy parts of the property are all within that 30 meters.
Okay.
A little bit hard to say just from having walked around the property. Like, I mean, it's,
Okay, the question I originally wanted to ask you was about the covenant, the proposed covenant. I believe that there's about a 20-year tradition of, especially in that area, of covenants actually being a title transfer to the municipality. And I'm thinking in this case that might be a valid way to go. I'm wondering if you've had a conversation about that.
Sorry, you're asking if we've had an application with, sorry, a conversation with the applicant about,
Yeah, with the proponents, yeah.
and sorry, but it was about through covenant restricting number of units, was it?
No, no,
No,
no.
no, that you got the protective covenant on the sensitive land.
Right.
And we know that covenants aren't well cataloged or monitored or safeguarded on Bowen, but I do believe that there's also a tradition, especially in that area of Bowen, of those covenants the title being transferred to the municipality. And I'm wondering whether that's been talked about or not.
Okay.
You mean like becoming parkland?
Yeah. Or, I mean, it sounds like in this case, you wouldn't want it to be a traditional park in terms of trails and things because it's swamp and it's a source for Grafton Lake. You might want it more protected than that, but that it would become actually under the municipal title. The title would be transferred to the municipality rather than staying with the strata or subdivision or whatever it is.
Okay, yeah, we have discussed that. Like currently the applicant's proposal is to do it through, as we said, through this conservation covenant. But largely, yeah, we have been having a discussion, and mainly with the last committee, with the Parks, Environment, and Climate Action Advisory Committee. Now that was that kind of a question we'd even put to them, which was that did they feel that that would be adequately protected under a conservation covenant, or would they rather see it be dedicated to municipality as a municipal park? Yeah, didn't get a clear recommendation out of that. It seemed like there were some pros and cons on both. But yeah, one thing that did attract them to the idea of the municipal park was, yeah, better protection of it. On the flip side, it was kind of worried that just being designated a park would almost attract people to it, or being designated municipal land would almost attract people to it. But then we were talking about that there are different designations for parks under the Bowen zoning bylaw. So we were discussing, giving it one that was just essentially a nature preserve, and even also considering denying the trails aspect, because I don't think we've talked about that. There are trails planned on that site plan in that protected area. So the thought was that's with the trails in there, it's still inviting the public to go in there, and there's more potential for damage. So it was felt that maybe not allowing those trails was a better move.
I like that.
Okay, I think Richard was next.
Thanks, Michael. I don't know if this is the right time. I just don't want to be the meeting to end, and then I don't have a say. I actually have a comment on a totally different matter related to this subdivision. So I don't know if you want to sort of get more comments on the riparian protection.
No, please raise your issue now.
Okay. It's just a position I have on subdivisions in general. That there is a subdivision bylaw. The bylaw does talk about water supply, community water supply, firefighting water supply. We're creating a subdivision of 4 lots, and the position I have is that rather than just accepting that there are 4 wells, there's no provision for firefighting water, that council need to actually make that decision that either we have a community water system with firefighting water, or we're okay with 4 wells. My position is that it's not good enough that a developer can say, well, I'm putting in 4 wells. Now I don't have to make any provision for firefighting water. I think this is the time when somebody needs to make a decision, either it's required or not. And that's my position. And sorry, that should be council, and that's my position. So in other words, in the way that Drew presents this to council, you know, that needs to be highlighted as an option, or an option that we're choosing not to have, or an option that we're choosing that we want. Just on the, you know, just generally on the matter of protection and so on. Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly with you. My concern about pollution from the, you know, from the septics. I'm certainly concerned about that. On the other hand, you know, Adams Road, served by a bus. It's also the ideal strip or corridor for densification because it's served by a bus. It's already a main arterial. So, you know, like I look at this and I think there are pros and cons. Thank you.
As there always are, Richard.
As there
But
always
yes.
are.
Okay, anyone else have a further comment? Haven't heard from you, Kirsty. You're muted. Still muted. Perhaps while you sort that out, I think, she's going to try and reboot. Brenda, why don't you go ahead while Kirsty finds her voice?
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to say that I think that when we are dealing with an area that, you know, we have some people on island who are pretty good scientists who have identified that area as being a very important recharge area for Grafton Lake, one of our most important water sources on the island. I don't think covenants are good enough. I don't think covenants that are not monitored and not enforced, other than through complaints being made, are good enough to protect our water. So I very strongly believe that we need more than that. And I commend the proponent for increasing the square, the area that he is suggesting could be covenanted. I do commend that and recognize that as a positive step. But I think that it would be so much better if it was protected as a park without public access trails. And that would be something that I could get behind and support.
Okay. Thanks, Brenda. Kirsty, it looks like you're
I'm
unmuted.
finally, yeah, I have no power here. So so everything, I'm on my cell phone and it's all a bit tricky. Yeah, I guess we can my usual comments, we can fuss and prevent things happening if we want to. And I think there are some issues. I think that the covenanted area is a good resolution to the water issues. And I agree there's an issue with fires. If we have prevent anything happening on any lot that doesn't have sufficient water for a fire, there will be no houses here. And so, you know, it's, and that's an ongoing issue. But I think that the covenanted area is good. I don't think the Muni needs to take on any more ownership of land, because they're not going to be any better at monitoring it anyway. And so, you know, they're not going to monitor it. So what's the point in them owning it? It takes on liability for the Muni. So anyway, that's my thought on that part of it.
Okay.
So, no, I'll shut up and go back to my cell phone. I can figure out how to do it.
I hope that works out. Okay, I think I can formulate a resolution here, but I'm wondering, Drew Burgess, is there any final comment or question you'd like to ask or comment you'd like to make?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Thank you very much. Right across the street, 501 Sunset, that was a 10-acre lot that was subdivided into 3 lots. One of those lots is dedicated to the municipality, and the other 2 lots are quite large. And I think because the land use bylaw allows two lots on that area, it makes sense to me to allow 2 lots, and the remainder, the vast majority, 90% of that lot 7, to be in a restrictive covenant, not a restricted covenant, owned by the municipality. I think it gives more teeth to protect the area. So you get 3 lots, 2 for residences, that's still 4 residences, and then the balance, proper dedication to the municipality for protection.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. And I think where we're headed is a place where we're unable to make a specific recommendation to approve or disapprove of the proponent's application. So, but I think we can still help council by setting out a series of conditions. That's probably the wrong word, but am I reading the digital room correctly here? Or does somebody want to approve it? Does somebody want to disapprove it?
Can I
Yes.
just make one more comment, please?
Please.
So agreeing with Brenda, but I think we need some sort of scientific basis on which the extent of the portion of this property that needs to be protected is defined. So that would be important.
Yeah.
And whatever path it takes from there, at least we would know what portion of this property as it stands now is safe to construct on, including septic, or even if there is a safe portion of that lot that can be developed.
Okay. Richard, you had another,
No,
and we'll bring that up in the
I-
conditions, in the
No, I
comments.
just want, no, not another condition, but I think the scientific basis for establishing the riparian zone is the surveyor. In other words, the 30-meter setback from, I don't know what it is, water areas, is something that a surveyor decides on, makes a decision on.
Well, that's a geotechnical question. Actually.
No, riparian areas is protection of creeks, right? Protection of watercourses. And then the 30-meter setback is something that the surveyor determines.
Yeah, I think this one is a little more complicated though, Richard, because it's not clear where the creek begins and ends, if there's a boggy area. In any event, it's funny, I ran into the other Richard on our mutual dog walk yesterday, and I said, there's lots of issues here. So we had a kind of off-the-record discussion, which is probably not appropriate. But in any event, one of the things that's fascinating about this particular remit is it engages so many issues that are significant to the island as a whole. And in one sense, I feel sorry for the proponent because he's, what can I say, poked a rabbit hole or whatever, issues that really do affect his land or her land, but really are island-wide issues. But that doesn't mean they don't have to be dealt with. So firstly, can I suggest that we do reserve our approval or disapproval? I think we've raised a lot of concerns, but I don't think they amount to a disapproval as such. But then provide some commentary that will assist council. Sarah?
Do you want me to bring one up?
Please start typing.
Okay, just one moment. I'll share so that you guys can see.
Okay.
Okay, can you see that?
Yeah, started screen sharing. Yes, double click to enter. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and can you see the blank piece of paper with the Advisory Planning Commission?
Okay, the Advisory Planning Commission reserves its approval, reserves its approval or disapproval.
It's support or lack of support.
Okay, if that's the language, okay,
I
sure.
think
Use the
that's the
language.
language, but I don't know.
No, that's fine. Reserves its support or lack of support. Actually, why don't we just say reserves its decision to support?
Okay.
Or not support.
Okay.
I mean,
It's all right. Yeah, we'll be clear.
presupposes how we're going to come down on this.
Oh, I don't know. Being the victim of many reserve decisions in my career didn't always come down in my favor. That's for sure. Okay. And we should explain ourselves because after
Should we say
yeah,
Yeah,
there
do
insert
agree.
due to the significance unresolved issues.
Or due to the following concerns?
Well, I call them issues.
Okay.
Due to the significance of the following issues, and then we can fill our
Right.
boots. Okay.
Right.
Firstly is the final outcome of the hydrogeological testing. And this is
Is it
this is-
Hydra?
Hydro. Oh, no.
hydro.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh.
It looks terrible.
And I know from my own water district, this is an art, not a science. Okay. The strength of any covenant or substitute, such as the municipality taking title to protect the land.
You better protect the land, or to protect the land.
Yeah, actually,
Good as
better,
is.
better is good. Yeah, I think.
To protect the watershed. We're not protecting the land.
Correct.
Oh, right.
Precisely, Richard.
The watershed.
That presumes that the Muni would be any better at it.
That's what strength is about, Kirsty. Yes, I know there are.
It'll enable them to hire more people anyway.
Good. Then we'll have to find housing for them.
Yep.
And in addition, Martin's point, the absence of scientific confirmation that the boundaries of the proposed conserved area are adequate to protect.
I'm going to disappear soon. Sorry, no power and cell running out of juice.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how long I'll last, just so you know.
Okay, so to protect the
Watershed.
Grafton Lake watershed.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, the absence of guidance concerning the location of any possible secondary suite.
Well, yeah. Didn't we also raise, didn't somebody make the point of whether it's even appropriate to have secondary suites?
Yeah, problem is Bill 44, the provincial requirement.
So
We can't
that-
overrule, but there may be ways of restricting the location of it and the size of it and so on.
Yeah, if it's
In-
not
in
related just
recognition
to
of the-
density. It's not a density cap. Restricting potential secondary suites in this case is not a density cap.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
related to protection of the watershed.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And,
Yep. Okay. Now, do we want to bring septic systems in here too? Although
Yes.
when you talk
Yeah,
about
I-
watershed, I think, Sarah, could you do this point under the Grafton Lake watershed point?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Right here?
And right. And the issue is,
consideration of septic
yeah,
design.
yeah, consideration of septic location and design. To be effective to protect the conservation area, the conserved area.
Do you want to say proposed still?
Sorry?
Do you want to say proposed conserved area again?
Yeah.
And watershed?
It's all about the watershed, but
Well, it is.
yeah. Okay, although it's as Mr. Burgess admitted, there's 200 houses within that watershed already. I think that's right. Okay, I did have one thought that hasn't been raised. It's not a solution, but I'd certainly recommend that the owners and the builders put in rain harvesting.
Yeah.
But
That should be a requirement for every new build today.
yeah, it should be.
It sort of fits with the fire protection concept
Okay,
too.
why don't we do that as a separate point? The question of adequacy of water
Do you want, oh wait, sorry. Did you want it as a
is
another
an issue,
bullet?
yeah.
Yep.
Of adequacy of water supply for domestic use and fire. What's the suppression? Thank you. I was going to say fire putting out, but suppression is much better. Including the possibility of requiring rain harvesting. Okay, folks, anything to add? I think I captured the discussion.
The only other thing I was wondering about is we talked briefly about whether it's a community water system or
Oh yeah, I
8
don't know.
different wells, and sort of thinking if you're going to have 8 different septic systems or 4 different septic systems, I'm not clear.
Yeah, I thought there
you
was
gotta-
something that talked about having one well and a
Yeah,
private water system. I think I saw that in Drew's report. Why don't you say the question of adequacy of water supply brackets after supply? Sorry, Sarah.
That's okay. 1 second. Where was that?
It's right at the last one we worked on. After
Oh,
supply,
yes,
put
yes, sorry.
brackets. And what I'm going to say is through individual wells or a community water system. And maybe we should add the same commentary on the septic.
Yeah, I was just
Where's
thinking-
that?
No, I can't see.
Oh, okay. After I think it's yeah, you had it. The
There we go.
consideration of septic location and design, and then put brackets after design.
Community septic system.
Yeah, through individual.
Systems or a
yeah.
community system?
Yep, that'll work.
Oh,
Sister,
System, because
System.
I don't know what
Sorry.
all kinds of different kinds of systems might be available.
yeah, you better put an S on systems. Yeah, actually, it's funny. I've had some discussions recently for various reasons with guys who work in that. And one thing I was told that was fascinating is a meter of ordinary soil is enough to clean disposable water, make it drinkable. The microbes in that small amount of soil. That was fascinating. Anyway, let's go through this again quickly. Following issues, and we should express them all as issues. The strength. Okay, so the third one should just simply say the issue is the septic location. We don't need to say, right. And next. That's good as a condition. Okay, maybe the next one, that just simply guidance for the location. We don't have to say absence because we made
So
an
we're
issue.
not mentioning anywhere about the restriction of secondary suites because we don't believe it's possible.
It's not clear that it is. There can be some restrictions, but they can't be prohibited, is my understanding.
Secondary suites can also be within the structure of the main home as well.
That's true too, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's
and
what I
then
was just gonna say.
and then it's the question of adequacy. Why don't we just say the adequacy of water supply? Okay, folks, any further comments, points, editing?
We did talk about trail usage. I thought those were actually existing trails on the site plan. I didn't understand that they were proposed trails.
Yeah, I think that comes under that whole issue of covenants, conservation
one.
covenants, and other covenants. I think we'll just leave. I think that's going to be covered if the municipality decides to take title. And it did occur to me that if the municipality doesn't want title, some other conservation organization on the island might. I mean, there's lots of possibilities here. Anyway.
Islands Trust.
Yeah. Okay. It's just I don't want to get too granular here because I think we've raised the overall issues, and then when they're considered, that's when the details will have to be dealt with. Okay, and can we go back to what did we say at the beginning? Okay, is that okay? Reserves, is that the right word, folks?
Yep.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, and that significance, I think, is the right. As I say, I do feel that bit of sympathy for the proponent because accidentally, perhaps, they have engaged some major island-wide issues, but then they're on the island, so there it is. Okay, is anyone brave enough to move that?
I do.
That was Betty, seconded.
I'll second it.
That's Brenda. All in favor? Ed,
Yes.
Yes.
are you still here, Christy? No, perfect.
Kirsty, yeah.
Okay. Oh, and Mr. Burgess, thank you for your interest and attending.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And
Now
Drew,
we should talk
ask-
about swimming in Grafton Lake and fishing and boating and all that stuff.
well, that's
that goes
pretty
on
shocking.
there.
That report is pretty shocking. And by the way, I have read the materials that Rosemary Knight and Bob Turner is involved in it as well, have prepared, and it's very sobering.
Just wondering, do you know off the top of your head how many homes are slated to go into the land under development on the south side of Adams Road, opposite Grafton Lake, on that plateau?
That's a large development. I've walked through there. It's
It's size of a
close to
Walmart
100 or
parking
something.
lot.
Well, it carries on above onto the hill.
Yeah, it goes right
It's
up the hill to
significant.
the Cove Bay water system area, and then across the road. Yeah,
There's going to be a lot of pressure on water supply And you don't know that number, Drew, off the top of your head? Just curious.
I think if it's there, I think we're talking about then it'd be 194 homes.
Yeah, wow. But this again is an island-wide issue, and well, my goodness, a global issue, really.
Mm.
The planet is running out of water.
Wow, that's 800 people there.
Easy.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I don't think we can tell them to take it away. Not that we'd want to, of course not. Okay. I'm trying to find my agenda. I'm hoping adjournment is the next item. But it's an information item. I hope we've been, let me just say to Sarah and Drew, if council starts getting squidgy about what we did, tell them we tried real hard. But these are very difficult issues. And at the end of the day, council makes the decision. And we just hope that they put a lot of thought into it. Okay.
Okay.
Any other information items that next meeting to be
Oh, there
done?
was an information. There was a referral that there was something that council had referred to you for information attached to the agenda as well.
Oh, that's
No,
the
I can't see
strategic
it.
plan. The strategic plan. Yeah.
There was one right under it, I thought.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. I can forward it if it didn't attach
No,
properly. I can forward it.
Yeah, no, it's there. It's there.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think, folks, we probably end up seeing this again. So, anyway. Okay. Any final comment or word before I ask for a motion to adjourn?
Nope.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, and enjoy your evening.
Thank you. I'll
Thank you.
Michael.
Happy Thanksgiving.
check with.
Yes.
Happy
Mrs.
Thanksgiving.
Hydro.
Okay. I'll assume that we
you.
have motion to adjourn since everybody's saying goodbye.
There we go.
If we all approve.